Alright, well, I haven't made a commentary in a very long time, but I'm making this one because I just uploaded 2 vlogs, and I don't want to turn into FouseyTube, because as soon as I turn into FouseyTube, I'll start telling people that this is the best family on all of YouTube, and then I'll start making fake pranks. Then I'll leave for like a year, or maybe I'll turn into Derv and do fake giveaways, and pretend to call the boss baby.
Also space time. Come on, dude. Connecting.
Yes, this is an actual human being.
Is this the boss baby?
Of course. Hi, Derv. How you doing?
Because obviously this voice,
Of course. Hi, Derv. How you doing?
sounds exactly the same as this voice.
Put that cookie down. Cookies are for closers.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, anyways, I'm making this video because like I said, I've uploaded 2 vlogs and I haven't made a commentary in a while. I also just want to talk about some stuff that's been going on in my life that I haven't really spoken about, because I just don't feel like doing. I didn't feel like doing commentaries. But one thing I'd like to talk about is one of my teachers that is like, so a lot of you probably don't know what a feminazi is. It's a term that us online users use as, so there's this thing called feminism, if you haven't heard of it. Basically, you know, you're defending women rights. Feminism is okay, it's a great thing, but there are those few feminists that take it to the extreme, and that's where they get the term feminazi, because they take everything to the extreme and they act like all men are rapists and bad people, which in reality they're not. And people who are like that makes them actually sexist, because they complain about men, about our world being sexist against women, but the way that they treat men is pretty sexist on its own. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I have a teacher, and I'm not gonna say she's sexist, but she's a feminazi, and she has like this favoritism for all the girls in our class for some reason. We were doing this stupid assignment where it's like a group assignment where we had to do a democratic vote on. So we had to take, all of us had to choose 5 people to take on a deserted island that we all voted on who would win. But before I go on to the topic, I'd just like to let you guys know that Einstein got beat up by Rachel Ray. You know that guy Einstein, like the smartest man to ever live, like 150 plus IQ. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he got beat out by some lady that can cook good food. So that's gonna be really useful on a deserted island. But anyways, back on to what I was saying. She's like a feminazi. So let me start where I first got this idea from. There's this girl in my class. Most of the people on the list were guys, because everyone was picking like the survivalist. And to be fair, most of the people that they picked that were guys were they weren't actually survivalists. They were just people who were on TV shows who pretend to be survivalists. Like there was some guy, I don't remember his name, but he did like some survival show where he lived in the woods, and he got caught at a hotel like a day later when he was supposed to be out in the woods. But anyways, most of those shows are fake. So this girl, she stands up and starts complaining because we already had The Rock on there, because everyone said we need a heavy lifter, but I don't know if The Rock or Dwayne Johnson is really that strong as he is in all the movies and stuff, but whatever, forget that. Let's just say that he's a really strong guy. So we need one person to be able to, you know, lift stuff, and a lot of people like him, right? And then there was this other lady that somebody picked who was also, she was strong and she could lift stuff, right? And I play by a rule of I want everything to be evenly spread out. So if we only take 5 people, we don't need 2 people who can do the exact same thing, because that takes up another slot that we can have someone else who can do something else for, which is a waste, right? So the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was on the very top. He was the first person that we picked, and we went through the whole list of people, and then I forgot to mention this, but we went through, everybody gave a few people, and then we boiled it down to 5. But when we were on that last, like there was 7 left, and we were on that last 7 to narrow it down to 5. So when we already had The Rock, like I said, you know, he's supposed to be quote unquote strong and stuff like that. And this other girl who's also strong, so when it came to the voting, some people, they said no for her, because, you know, we don't need 2 people who can do the exact same thing. This individual decides to stand up and start screaming and yelling about how, basically saying like girls are better than men, girls can do all of this stuff. It would have been fine if she was just being like girls can do these kinds of things too, but she was like, she was saying it in a very demeaning manner, as if they're sexist and that they hate women, and that that all men hate women, and that women are bad. That's the way that she said it, and that really bothered me. I really wanted to hit her with some of that biology about how men naturally grow up to be stronger than women because they have higher testosterone levels. But I really don't want to make my teacher mad because Shirley is kind of rude as it is, so she'll be rude to me the whole year. She holds grudges, right? So that really bothered me. She also does a lot of favoritism things to all the girls. She lets the, like, okay, so if a girl in our class were to yell at some guy, she wouldn't care. If a guy were to yell at some girl in our class, she'd get mad. And also, something else I forgot to point out, that girl that I was talking about that started screaming about, while she was talking, I looked at my teacher and she was smiling with a very smug look on her face. But on to what I was about to say. She has like a lot of favoritism for the girls too. Like not like last week. So there was this group of girls, right? And we were doing this project, and there's this group of girls, and they were on their phones, and they were supposed to be quote unquote researching their topics, and they were just sitting there, you know, not doing that. They're on their phones, right? With another group with a bunch of kids that I'm friends with, they got on their phone to research some stuff, and then the teacher got mad at them. I mean, I guess you could say that they might have asked, but so that last piece of evidence I gave about her favoritism wasn't very good, but here, I got a better one for you. So that girl that stood up and started screaming, my teacher has the most favoritism for that girl. But something else that I forgot to say that she did when she stood up, I messed up when I was talking, but what actually happened was we did a main vote and we did a secondary vote, and she stood up and got mad during the main vote, but when we were doing the secondary vote to, you know, throw off the last 2 people for 5, when that girl came up to the vote that I was talking about, so this one kid, he raised his hand for no. She stands up and yells, "You're sexist," in front of the whole class, and the teacher just was like sitting there smiling, like it was okay, like that's okay for her to do that. I find it absurd that my teacher thinks that it's okay for this girl to stand up and yell, "You're sexist," but that another kid, he made some joke about feminism or something like that. It was something mild, and she sent him out. But it's okay for this girl to stand up and yell, "You're sexist." Yeah, that's pretty fair. I'd also like to let you know, this is the same teacher that got mad at me and tried to embarrass me in front of the whole class because a kid walked in late, and I said, "Ooh, you're late," as a joke. Something else that teacher does that really bothers me is that she drops little political bombs. Whenever someone brings up Donald Trump, she drops like just these little nitpicks about Donald Trump. I don't think she's allowed to do that. She said she's not allowed to do that. And it really is annoying. I find that very manipulative and immature when they try to manipulate children into believing their own political opinion. On a lesser note, I also have a teacher who, for some reason, she's like passive aggressive with everything. She's so passive aggressive. For example, here, I'll try to put this in perspective. Philip DeFranco, passive aggressive. If you don't know who Philip DeFranco is, here, let me tell you who Philip DeFranco is. He's a news guy, right? He's another news guy. He's like Scarce and Keemstar, but Scarce is boring. Keemstar's different. Philly D's kind of just beats around the bush. The way that Philip DeFranco is, a lot of people call him Philly D, so I'm gonna call him that because it's shorter. But the way that Philly D works, he'll give an opinion, then he'll be like, on the other hand, and he does that all the time. So, because he can't take hate. He does that all the time. So, if he says one thing, he also makes it look like he's saying the other thing. So, people can't get mad at him for a certain opinion. And it's really, he's like a coward. Also, I don't like Philly D because recently, he said that he was going to start up a YouTube channel or another group, and he hasn't specified anything. He's hinted at that he was going to try to get rid of CNN and Fox News and beat them out with the new news channel. This guy, let me tell you what this guy does. This guy is rich. Okay, he makes tons of views on his videos because he's the news guy. So whenever he makes videos, he gets to pull all of those YouTubers' tags in the videos that he talks about. So people click on those videos, and he gets money from it, right? For him being a news guy, he's rich. Okay, it's obvious he's rich. And let me tell you what this guy does. Okay, he sets up a Patreon to try to get money from his fans to start up this new news organization. This man is rich, and he's scamming his fans for money on Patreon. And if you don't know what Patreon is, it is a service where people can set up Patreons, and you can pay a certain monthly subscription to give them money to donate to them, or sometimes they'll give you little perks and stuff like that. But as far as I know, there aren't any perks. I haven't been on the Patreon because I don't care. I'm not donating any money to this guy. Yeah, it's probably just gonna be another thing like the he had another thing. It was like a YouTube news network that he had with a bunch of other YouTubers, and he shut that down. He sold that. And he's probably gonna do the same thing with this thing. He sold that for a lot of money, so I really don't like him. The only news guy that I really kind of like is Keemstar, because he's not gonna be a coward and beat around the bush. He's just gonna be blatant honest with you. Because what Philly D does is he tries to make you happy so you like him, but that's not the job of the news. The job of the news is to report the news, not like make little lies to make people happy so they like you. And Scarce is boring. Scarce is like a mini version of Philly D, except he's not nearly as annoying as Philly D. But Scarce people say Scarce is boring. I don't really find him boring. Well, yeah, maybe a little boring, but I watch Scarce and Keemstar because sometimes Scarce doesn't have some stories and Keemstar has them, and vice versa. So I watch both of them. All right, I hope you enjoyed this stupid video. I'm probably gonna get a bunch of hate from a bunch of feminists. So like this video up, boys. I'm out.